Blessings, soulful people. I wanted to hop on here and talk about childhood trauma, and that will cover the letter C. I've wanted to go and plan on going from the letters A to Z when it comes to just presenting different topics. And again, today's topic will be on childhood trauma. Now, you might say, well, it's adults watching your videos, so why would you talk about childhood trauma? Childhood trauma is something that occurs as a child, but it can follow you throughout the rest of your life, in how you carry yourself and decisions that you tend to make that have been based out of trauma. So I think I know it's a perfect topic to talk about with all the discord that people have witnessed, experienced, and we just don't, have the opportunity to talk about these things. It should be okay to discuss childhood trauma outside of work, outside of just, speaking with a therapist, although a therapist is extremely important. And by the way, I am not here to diagnose anyone. I'm not here to, to speak out of the scope of a nursing practice. But we all have made witness to trauma, continually go through trauma, and these are things that we need to begin to address so that we can live a holistic, healthy life. So again, the brand is Soulful Nutrition and Wellness, and my name is Michelle King. Soulful Nutrition and Wellness it's about taking care of the whole you, holistically, mind, body, spirit, and do know that evolution is essential for growth. So let's talk about just discuss the definition of what childhood trauma would be. And I did pull something up here, AI overview, of course, but and again, I always say AI is good, but use it to your own discretion. Always think for yourself, because it is artificial intelligence, and we should be in a place where we're continually learning, growing, and applying the knowledge that we receive on a daily basis. So childhood trauma. It can lead to various lasting effects on adults, including mental health issues like anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. It can also cause relationship difficulties, emotional regulation problems, and physical health conditions such as heart disease, autoimmune disorders, cognitive and behavioral impacts, includes difficulties with memory, focus, and self-esteem. The definition for me and to me is holistic in nature. The definition described mental health, physical issues, spiritual issues. And so if we don't start addressing these things, then it just perpetuates the same thing over and over and over again, the same, experiences. So that's why I'm here to talk about it, because it must be addressed. Let's talk about anxiety and depression. As a child, I can remember, way back when, and not having a mother around to help to raise me. And I'm thankful for all the family members that were there, and friends and, people that I met along life's journey that meant me well. But as a child, there are so many things that you go through, whether it's molestation, incest, being at home alone, not having friends. I've even seen racism listed here. And yes, I do go there. Racism. We tend to just sweep these things under the rug as if everybody has had this wonderful bed of roses type of life, when that is farthest from the truth. in the media, we see things on a daily that will trigger or can trigger the things that you have already been through as a child, and that then this thing is continually perpetuated through the media, and you are carrying this stress within your body that really stems from being a child and just have never been given the opportunity to even discuss these things. Or again, the culture is to just stay quiet, but yet you got that negative energy just that has been just hiding within your being since a 6-7-year-old. So we need to be comfortable and become comfortable with discussing the things that bind us, not in a way to put that thing on someone else, but just so that you may become free. At what point do you discuss that, I was hurt by my family members that were there, or my family members that weren't there, my parents that were there, or my parents that weren't there, but yet they were doing the best that they could for me at the time, and that's all they knew how to do. It is mind, body, spirit, and it is about holistically caring for oneself. So in order to evolve, I myself had to get those things out, whether it was in prayer, whether it was in speaking with someone else about it, whether it was just building a community and becoming a part of a tribe that was evolved and wants to evolve and help others. That is why I'm here recording this video right now, because my heart's passion is to help others to become set free as I become set free. So anxiety and depression. A lot of people, I see it all the time, even on my job as a nurse. So many people suffer from anxiety and depression. And again, it didn't just start when they became employed as a nurse, or wherever your position is, your profession is. It didn't just start then. There has to be a root cause to it. So we need to begin to get to the root causes of our anxiety and depression. Emotional dysregulation. It states here, it can make it difficult to manage emotions, leading to intense mood swings or trouble calming down after distress. Immediately, I think about being passive, being assertive, or being aggressive. You can be too passive and you just kind of let things slide in that moment, but yet you harbor all this pain within because you've allowed yourself to just be spoken to in any kind of way, or because as a child you didn't have a voice. Go in there and sit down and stay in a child's place, and so you tend to shrink, and you grow up and now you're a passive adult, not addressing the things that you should address because you in fear of getting in trouble. If you watched, I'm going there, cousins be whooped, choose their switch off of a tree to get a whooping because that's how it was done. And mind you, I made witness to this kind of stuff. So then you're afraid to speak up as an adult because you just don't want to get in trouble. Being passive, you got to pick your battles, and that's just being too passive is not going to get you anywhere. Okay, then you have assertive. Being assertive means you're standing in your own grounds. You are a believer in what it is that you stand for, and you're going to make sure that the next person notes your boundaries in your assertion when it comes to things. Then you got aggressive. This is what this is talking about. You just don't know how to deregulate yourself, and you're always going off. That's not balance. That's not holistic care of oneself, because then you're lashing out negative energy to the next person, or even you're passive aggressive. I've seen that too, where you're passive aggressive. So nasty nice. Time out for that. We need to begin, capital WE, we need to begin to think about our approach when it comes to directing things, at people, because everybody is going through things. When people come into work, you don't know what they've been through. You don't know what their childhood trauma looks like and what they're still trying to sort out in their own lives. So we need to begin to go within and deal with our passiveness and our being aggressive. But assertion, I would suggest that that's right there in the middle, and that's where we should be. Childhood trauma, PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So if you've gone through any form of abandonment, if you've gone through someone, touching you, molestation, incest, being alone, all these things can cause you to have childhood trauma, and then it's carried out into adulthood, and then you base your decisions out of the trauma that you've been through. So for instance, if you were alone as a child all the time and kind of raising yourself, and now you become an adult and you want to have someone in your life to love and you want someone to love you, then you can find yourself making the decision to be with people that are giving you attention, whether it's negative attention, but you receive it as positive attention because it's attention, or hanging out with the wrong crowds because you were alone as a child or you were bullied as a child. But you carry these same decisions. You make these decisions from the things that you have endured as a child. It's time to get set free. It is okay to get a renewing of your mind so that you can live your best life while you are here. It's time to start cutting off what just doesn't serve your purpose. It's time to start weeding out the things that bind you. And it is okay. Will everybody be satisfied with your decision making? Well, no, because when it comes to caring for you, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But if you want to live your best life and you want to be whole, then those are the things that we must do, is get rid of the things that just simply does not serve our purpose here on earth. Difficulty with stress. Individuals may struggle with poor stress management skills and experience chronic stress. First of all, we know that we live in what is called a capitalistic country. As a child, I truly saw the need to work, that if you didn't work, you didn't eat. And the Bible says that as well, but meaning it a able body. There's people that have disabilities and need to help in being cared for, but a well-abled body. I saw very young that you must get up and go to work. But also too, I adopted that mindset because of different things that I saw going on as a child, not having, a mother raising me, and seeing very young that I needed to fend for myself. So then you got this work mentality until you die that I am now currently trying to tear that template down, because yes, work is important, but I don't want to work for someone else until I die. It absolutely doesn't make sense. But childhood trauma brought that on. And I'm sure, growing up in the 70s, and anybody else, that is listening to the sound of my voice that is 50 and over, you truly understand what the 70s looked like. And there were chances that arose to become who it is that you wanted to become. Back then, it was you become what your parent became or did not become, which for me is a nurse, but you have carried the trauma of, I just got to work to pay the bills. I just got to work to pay the bills. And today, there are many other options out here besides going and getting, a college level degree. You got your trades that have been pushed aside, that we still need electricians, we still need plumbers, so what works for one person may not work for another. But growing up during a time where all you saw was, okay, the need to get up, go to work so you can pay your bills, and life is it's just more than that. So next one, avoidance. There can be a tendency to avoid social situations or relationships, sometimes due to a lack of social skills or a fear of intimacy. If your childhood trauma is neglect, or you just have not, what word am I looking for here? You have not grown up with the American dream, the house, the mother, the father, the cat, the dog, and the white picket fence, but you've had to struggle on your own in order to make it, then there could be a lack of wanting to be out within the community. Maybe you're afraid to be in larger groups because you've witnessed, a shooting as a young child, or, you witnessed mob action as a young child, or you've witnessed, you're a person of color and you've witnessed police brutality. I mean, these things are real, and we need to begin to talk about it because it's painful, and you carry these things from a child all the way into adulthood. So myself, in the 70s, I watched Roots on television for 8 days. And now as a woman over 50, that wasn't supposed to, affect me in any kind of way. Sure it did. Sure it did. And I've had to make it through all the things that bound me when it came to racism as a young child up until this date, but I've made it. And now I'm here talking about it so someone else can know that it is okay to speak about it. Racism, a childhood trauma. Low self-esteem, a sense of shame. Where am I? A sense of shame and low self-worth can persist into adulthood. I have had friends that have told me their parents said, well, you ain't gonna be nothing when you grow up. Now, to tell a child that they're not going to be nothing when they grow up, or you're going to be just like your father, or you're going to be like you're no good mama, that causes childhood trauma, and then it moves into adulthood. So now you're the one that has to get an A all the time, or you just push yourself to the limit with no boundaries because you're always trying to prove something to someone outside of you. Because if it was an inside job, you would have limits and boundaries on it. But we tend to want to people please, so therefore you push the limits when it may be unhealthy for you to do so. We got to get to a place where we matter enough to set boundaries, to go back, go within. Going back is to go within and take a look at what brought you to the decision making on today. Sometimes childhood trauma could affect you in a positive way. It doesn't always have to be in a negative way. So for instance, me, myself, seeing the need of others and wanting to help others is why I became a nurse. It wasn't always because it wasn't because of something bad. I just saw the need for people, but yet and still family members being diagnosed with diabetes very young, and participating in the use of helping them to overcome the drawing up of insulin and things like that. And that also, gave me the desire to want to become more educated so that I could not only help myself, but help my loved ones that, have been diabetic or, heart disease. The list goes on and on and on. So childhood traumas don't always cause you to just harbor negative energy, but also can propel you to do what it is that you were called to do, or that thing that you're passionate about. So I know that a conversation like this can be discussed on a couple of different videos, but I just want you all to know that you're not alone when it comes to being an adult and still dealing with childhood traumas, or you're not alone if you are not addressing the childhood traumas that you carry. I am here to shed light on that thing, and you should feel free to utilize resources in your community so that you can become whole. Again, I will always say this: you have your therapist, psychotherapist, psychiatrist, psychologist, you have social workers, you have mindset coaches, you have holistic health nurse coaches like myself, and we are coming together for the greater good. And just jump on the bandwagon, you all. God bless. I look forward to the next video. Until then, peace.